Welcome back to the Creatively Challenged podcast for Monday, February 5th. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Nolan, and I am overjoyed to be seated next to my good friend, Mike Stuglis. What's up?
Why are you overjoyed, Ryan?
Oh, you
I just dropped my phone.
You know, we all decided to be old men and go to bed early yesterday, so we would be energetic today, and I'm just happy to be here.
What time do you go to
I didn't
bed?
even need coffee this morning.
No?
No.
That's how you know.
Well, I had apple juice.
Mm.
But, yeah, what time did you go? No, I heard you come in.
I went to bed at like 2 a.m. I'm just saying,
Oh.
collective.
I heard Elaine's heels coming down the hall as I was going to sleep.
They do make a lot of noise there.
Mm.
I didn't go to bed too early, but I slept in and shit. So we're all well rested.
You didn't sleep in. I slept in.
You slept in.
You, slept in as in, like, I woke up early but then just laid in bed.
Yeah.
You were out by, like, fucking 7:30, you lunatic.
On the Ryan scale, though.
You're a lunatic.
Thanks, Dan. That's Dan Stewart over there. How are you? Aside from well rested.
I'm very well rested. That's awesome. I don't have to work tonight. Finished all my homework because the Patriots play tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the Patriots played yesterday, and they won.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not the sports guy.
They should have won. They won.
Okay.
If not, the Eagles did, and I'm pissed. But, yeah, the Patriots won yesterday. But if they didn't, then the Eagles won, and I'm pissed.
Oh, when this is posted, I was just trying to figure out, like, wait, the Super Bowl's tomorrow.
Yeah.
That just made sense.
It's Saturday that we're recording, but
Okay.
you guys are listening to us in the future.
Yeah.
Where the Patriots won the Super Bowl, or the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and I'm pissed. But the Patriots won the Super Bowl, and I'm fucking excited about it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Mm.
I was just thinking about this because we were talking about how great it is that we, like, pretty much have nothing to do today. When you guys retire, do you think that you're going to, like, still do some sort of, like, volunteer or, like, get into woodworking or something? Or are you just going to be, like, out? I'm just going to, like, spend the next 30 years just, like, watching TV doing nothing.
That sounds good.
You want to do the nothing?
Yeah, because I already do nothing.
Like,
I went to bed
Yeah.
at 11 and woke up at 10:30.
It's pretty good.
I'm very content with doing nothing a lot more than other people are. I know Mike is, like, 10 times way more content of doing nothing, you know? Like, I like to do things. But, like, I feel like when I'm retired, like, I hate work. So,
Yeah.
like, doing it is fine. Like, I know my dad was retired for, like, a minute before he started working
Really?
again. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Well, the government made him retire from Homeland Security. And then, like, less than a year later, he was working in the Cook County State's Attorney's Office.
What did he do when he was retired for that brief moment? Was it nothing?
Famous Jim Stewart quote is, "You can only cut the grass and read the paper so many times."
That's the thing. Is that I don't know if I could just do the nothing. Like, you guys might be
You're
well-adjusted
like
enough to
you're
do it.
similar to my dad in that aspect, to where, like, I feel like you can't, like, sit down unless my dad comes home from work and, like, sleeps on the couch, like, sleeps in his chair. Like, he's, like, up and moving all the time, like, putting up Christmas decorations, taking them down, like, putting everything up, or, like, cooking or whatever. Like, he's always, like, on it all the time.
I think I'm going to be one of those old guys that's into ducks, and I'm going to raise ducks and feed them bread and stuff.
And then when the Ducks leave, are you going to have a panic attack and crash and you have to see a therapist for 6 seasons?
That is the plot of Goodfellas.
No, Sopranos.
Or, sorry, jeez. Sopranos.
Top 5 movie ducks. Movie or TV ducks.
Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks, Howard the Duck.
Yeah. Duck and Cover, the nuclear bomb instruction movie.
Yeah.
The Mallard Andy whips a rock at in the office. That makes it out.
Or Abby Mallard from Chicken Little. And then number 1, of course, is Donald Duck. Although Donald Duck and I don't see eye to eye, he's probably top dog. Why the fuck did we forget about Daffy? Daffy's number 2.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck that Chicken
Why
Little
do
duck.
you and Donald not agree? Is it because you like to wear pants?
No, it's because, like, Donald always heals me at the wrong time.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Yeah.
That's right.
So here's the thing, like, I'm, like, about to die, and, like, I get an opening to heal myself, and then right when I heal myself and waste all my magic, Donald heals me as well. So, like I waste my magic when Donald, like, heals me, or I'm about to die and I don't have any magic and I don't get healed by Donald and I'm out of potions and then I die.
Donald's a real son of a bitch.
Yeah, he is.
And he doesn't speak English well at all.
No.
No.
Without subtitles, it's hard to understand Donald.
You know, he's been living in this country long enough. I think it's about time he learns to speak our language.
Dude, did you ever see that that little
Yeah, we'll put a border around his pond.
Oh god.
that like patriotism like Donald Duck cartoon from the World War II where Donald's like a fucking Nazi?
What?
Yeah.
No.
Donald's
He is training to be a Nazi, but he doesn't.
He wakes up
It's in a
in
dream.
America and then he loves America and freedom and stuff like that. But
They were all-
Donald goes, "Hail Hitler, hail Hitler, hail
my
Hitler."
God.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. That was actually a pretty good Huey impression. Huey is one of Donald's nephews of the trio Huey, Dewey, and Louie. But now, well, they don't sound like that anymore in this new DuckTales show on fucking Disney XD. They sound like millennial kids. Like, they're like, "Yo, bro." Yeah, I hate it. It sucks.
Have you watched the show though? I've heard good things about the new
I've
DuckTales.
heard good things about the
Yeah.
show too, but like I don't want to watch it.
Yeah,
I don't
they
wanna
reworked him. It
Make
might
Huey,
be
Dewey,
tainted.
and Louie because Scrooge McDuck still sounds like Scrooge McDuck,
No.
like Uncle Scrooge. You know,
Yeah. Everyone else Scrooge McDuck.
they should bring back Darkwing Duck.
Maybe.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
We'll have a review up for the new season
Of Darkwing Duck when it comes
Darkwing
back.
Yeah.
I'd actually watch Darkwing Duck if they brought it back.
Well, for the uninitiated, each and every week here on Creatively Challenged, we talk entertainment news, review a movie. Whoops, we also do a recurring topic in between those.
Yeah, those recurring topics, they've recurred once again.
Every week they come back.
Yeah,
Uh,
nuts. It's like
This
a
joke is
it's like
terrible.
It's like a
it's the second
boomerang.
week in a row we're doing that. And discuss a random topic that we bring to this $34 card table. And with that, let's get into the news. Our first story, Mike, you got it.
There is a teaser trailer out for the sequel to the Ant-Man movie, which came out in 2015.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
It is Ant-Man and the Wasp, and the Wasp is Evangeline Lilly, who is a character in the first movie, and now she will be becoming a superhero as well to be the sidekick to Paul Rudd's Ant-Man. What did you guys think of this teaser trailer?
It was pretty jam-packed for a teaser trailer, and I almost feel like that should just have been the trailer. Like that was the perfect like pop into what we're seeing without telling us anything.
Mm-hmm.
I probably have been on this tirade forever on this show, but I thought that was awesome, and it gave us a taste of the tone of the movie, a few different little tweaks that they're changing. It looks like Michael Pena's character is still involved, which I'm excited about. I liked him in the last movie. I don't know about you guys.
And Michael Douglas.
Yeah. Oh man, Michael Douglas.
And
in it,
T.I.
too. What? He's in this?
Yeah, he was in the first one.
Oh, wasn't he like one of the stupid goons that he
Mhm.
robbed places with?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he was pretty funny.
Mhm.
He had good chemistry with the crazy guy from Dark Knight and Michael Pena.
That's right. They were fun in that. What do you think, Dave?
Of the trailer?
Yeah.
I think it looks really fun. You know, I mean, like, Ant-Man was a surprise to, like, all audiences about how good it was, and I think Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to be more of the same. Evangeline Lilly was awesome in the first one, and now to actually see her in action as the Wasp will be pretty cool, and it comes out in, July, or the end of June?
I think so.
And
Something around then.
You know, obviously Infinity War comes out at the beginning of May, so I don't know like where Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to fit in like chronologically wise, whether since it comes out after Infinity War, like it'll actually take place after that, but like I don't know, it'll be kind of fun because like Marvel movies have been pretty like consistent on release date being like the order of each film.
Yeah.
Except Captain Marvel is about to be in the 90s or 80s or something.
The 90s.
Yeah. So that's kind of going to be the only one. And that comes out in like August of this year.
Something like that.
I don't know.
I got no clue.
What worked so well about the first one was of how small scale it was, like how unrelated. It's an
small scale.
how,
That's what they do.
but how unrelated it was to the like to the bigger blockbuster movies. It was more of a heist movie than anything else, and it felt small. And I got that vibe from this trailer too, especially when Michael Douglas shrinks the house or the building.
Yeah, I like how there's a gigantic like
Pez dispenser.
No, well, yeah,
Handle.
that, but like a gigantic handle just in the building, just automatically for when he wants to shrink it and bring it along as a
There's
suitcase.
huge wheels under the building's foundation.
Yeah, like how does that
I don't know. It's Pym particle stuff. Who knows?
Pym particle?
Mm-hmm.
Hank Pym.
He made him. Speaking of small scale, Ant-Man must feel pretty small when he's crawling around with all those ants.
I like how his I like his little flying ant's name is Anthony.
Didn't he
Dead.
die?
He's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll come back or something. Who
No,
knows?
I hope not. He sucked.
Well, he has no role for Anthony anymore because wings. He's gonna have wings.
Well, no, the
She
Wasp
has
is gonna have
wings.
wings.
They both have him in one of the final shots.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
well-
a spoiler.
it's in the teaser.
Why'd you tell me that, Ryan?
You watched the trailer, so
You suck
but apparently not enough
for telling
you
everybody on
idiots.
this movie and entertainment podcast about a movie and entertainment trailer.
I guess.
Let's.
Well,
Idiot.
speaking of betrayal, Judas's betrayal. All right, Mel Gibson is to make a Passion of the Christ sequel featuring the same Jesus in the original movie. I've never seen Passion of the Christ. I hear it's very reliant on the torture of Christ and is grueling to watch, but is also revered because of that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and it's all in that like Jesus dialect, that old like Jerusalem dialect. I don't know
I
what
don't
the
know what
fuck
it
it's
is.
called. I learned it in grade school.
Okay.
Did you see the movie?
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up, but here's the thing. It's about the Stations of the Cross. Jesus dies in it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear that there's a sequel being made, I don't know what the plot is about. I don't know what they're gonna do. But
It's based
Did
off
he
a book, apparently.
Did he rise in the first one? Did he come back?
yes,
Okay, so that's interesting.
so all I can think about is that Family Guy flashback, that episode called North by North Quahog,
Mm-hmm.
Or North by Northwest Quahog.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Mel Gibson has Passion of the Christ too, and it's called Crucify This. And it's Jesus and Chris Tucker in a buddy cop comedy. And that's all I can think about with this headline.
That's all it should be.
I know.
That'd be awesome.
Like, Jesus handed Chris Tucker a gun. Do you know how to use one of these? And
Yeah.
then Chris Tucker goes, do you know how to use one of these? And he's got a joint. Oh, man.
Well-
Yeah, dude, this is stupid.
It is weird, but I mean, like, I read the book series and I know they're gonna do with this sequel, and
There's
like,
a book series?
Tell us then to give me an understanding.
yeah, well, like you guys didn't. Okay, you guys didn't read them, I
No.
guess.
No.
It's
I don't read Jesus books.
the fucking Bible. It's the Bible.
I know the Bible. I've read the Bible.
that's
I thought
the
you
book.
meant there were like these
No.
books.
Yeah,
No,
that's how you
like-
phrased it.
Yeah.
The Old
That's how
Testament
you
and the New
phrased
like it was
Testament.
like Harry Potter or
No,
something.
that's what I meant.
it. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
Now I understand.
yeah, and
it's a very subtle joke, but I liked it. I'm sorry
So-
that it didn't land.
I mean, it's probably just gonna be exactly that.
Well, yeah,
Like him
but
getting resurrected.
but it happened.
That's what he's saying happened in the first one.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's just gonna do. He's gonna wait. So
maybe,
he went into heaven.
maybe it's a prequel. Like maybe it shows like him like becoming Jesus, like a Rocky monologue or not a monologue, a fucking montage of like him like performing miracles and stuff. Although some of those are in the other movie too. There are flashbacks and stuff.
Did Christ ascend to heaven at the end of that movie?
I don't remember actually.
Okay, because maybe there's a little bit more left, but like, man, if they already got that far, then where's this gonna go?
I keep dropping my phone.
I remember like it was like a big deal, but I remember like St. Mary's like wanted us to watch it, but like it's like, oh, watch with your parents because it's like rated R and it's fucked up and
Yeah.
stuff. But like it's been like 10 years since I've seen it. I've never wanted to watch it again. It's pretty
Yeah. Oh, we'll see where he goes. We'll
Yeah.
find out news on like the plot later on.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a cool teaser trailer.
Well, this sounds like it's not even in like production yet.
No, they just like greenlit it to happen.
I just want to see that Chris Tucker gets casted and then we've got a movie there.
That'd be so great if they actually did. Our next story. Emily Blunt and Dwayne Johnson are to star in Disney's Jungle Cruise. And you might remember, if you've ever been to Disney World, Jungle Cruise is one of those boat rides that has the person with the intercom and they kind of are narrating the fun adventure while there's animatronic animals. That's the movie they're basing this off of. Much like how with the Pirates of the Caribbean series, it was just based off of another boat ride in the Disney parks. Now they're going on the same angle where we're going to do Jungle Cruise. There's no trailer. This is just announced that they're both in it. And I hope that they do something fun and innovative like they did with Pirates of the Caribbean, because they made like an awesome few movies for that series with that. And so we got two good people for this. What do you guys think?
Well, they're both going to be Disney alums at this point because Emily Blunt's playing Mary Poppins in a movie coming out this year.
Yes.
And Dwayne Johnson played that guy in Moana. What was the character's name?
I think it was Maui. Yeah.
Maui Wowie. And
that's a smoothie stand, isn't it?
and he
it's
played the smoothie stand. And
It's a calzone from DP Dough, and it is amazing. It's like a Hawaiian pizza, like rolled up in calzone.
So,
Yeah.
so, yeah. You got 2 stars for this project. That's the only thing that sounds good to me, because this just sounds like Disney going like, all right, we're gonna make Jumanji 3
Yeah.
with The Rock coming back, and this doesn't interest me in the slightest.
Did either of you two see Tomorrowland with George Clooney?
I heard it wasn't great.
Yeah, because Tomorrowland's the part of Disney World with Space Mountain and stuff like that.
I forgot
so.
they did that. I watched it after a friend was telling me how much he didn't like it, and then I didn't like it either. It was like kind of a really dumb premise for how they like decided to put the spin on just a regular part of Disney. That one didn't work. Maybe this could.
And
but,
Brad Bird directed that one too, which is
Yeah.
a surprise of why it was like not good.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do making a movie about just one slice of like the Magic Kingdom.
Same thing with this, right?
This isn't the Animal Kingdom.
No, I'm meaning just being one.
Yeah,
fucking-
but it's odd. It's a stupid ride. I don't know. Like, only some of the animals are real.
Yeah.
Well, how many jungle movies is The Rock gonna do? Because he's done Journey, he's done, and there's like a couple of those. He's now done Jumanji, and he's gonna do this. He loves the jungle.
And when he played Hercules, there was a scene in a
Yeah.
jungle.
And he's kind of jungle guy in Rampage coming to theaters soon with
Yeah.
the giant animals fighting. He's
Yeah.
like the animal jungle guy again.
Maybe he just likes wearing cargo stuff.
It's really
He looks good in it.
There's been like 2 or 3 years now of him in like cargo khaki shirts, and it's like, come on, do something else. I don't know. Are we all getting fatigue of Dwayne Johnson being in everything?
No, he's so charismatic. Like he's got such a face and a voice for being on all of our television and movie screens. Like he belongs there. But it's just like, I want to see The Rock nominated for an Oscar one day, and he's not gonna be doing that, doing fucking Jungle Cruise.
I'd rather see Emily Blunt in a Edge of Tomorrow sequel.
Yeah, probably.
Did that do
Although,
well enough to warrant that?
It's greenlit for a sequel,
Oh.
which is I'm really excited about. Even though it kind of bombed, which is a surprise of why it's getting another movie. Even though it was like really well,
It was
it
a
was
good
really
movie.
well
It's
reviewed.
surprising.
It just didn't do well at the box office.
Yeah.
we went and saw it.
Yeah, it kicked
It
ass.
was full of the theater full of old people. Mike and I were the 2 youngest people in the theater.
That's the best when you end up in one of those movies.
Yeah.
We did that with Darkest Hour. It was all old people.
Whoa.
That's my gay computer.
Well, it's actually not, because old people like talk during movies.
They
and
were
I,
horrible.
and I remember when we saw Edge of Tomorrow, and we did see it here, so it's just all old people at this point. All old people.
No, we saw it at home.
Stink.
It came out when we were in high school.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. Well, is that all we have on this?
Old people.
Old people
We didn't
suck.
talk. We just talked about Emily Blunt and The
Yeah.
Rock, and we're like, this movie's not good.
We were just like, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's just like,
It exists.
I don't know if they could
It's
do
fun
another
to exist.
Pirates. Like that kind of swinging success.
Well, Pirates was crazy awesome for 3 movies.
Yeah. It was great.
And then they did 2 more, and 4 was awful, and so was 5, but it was
Mhm.
slightly better than 4, in my opinion.
Although you really can't count out Disney ever
What do you mean
to
count out?
entertain.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Mm.
like Tomorrowland was a visual spectacle,
Yeah.
but I still hated it.
No, they have misses, but it's not safe to assume like, oh, Disney stinks, because Disney's on top of the world because their movies are so engrossing.
Did you
right.
see Pete's Dragon?
No,
That didn't look
most
interesting
people
to
didn't.
me.
Well, I mean the original cartoon I
No.
watched, but the I kind of want to see the real one because I watched the original cartoon to see if it's any good.
That new one came out a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, Robert Redford's in it
Oh,
for some reason.
that's right.
Yeah,
Huh.
He's retiring this year, I think.
from acting.
Yeah, he has like one more movie or something.
Well, he was fucking awesome as Pierce in Winter Soldier, but he just looked like shit in it. Like, I love Robert Redford. He's gonna go down as like top 10 greatest actors ever. Like, but yeah, he's old.
So we're done on
What's our next story?
Next story. Close my phone, but the guy who directed a fucking I almost said Molly's Game, but it's Gerald's Game. Gerald's Game, the Netflix movie adapted from the Stephen King novella of the same name, that we reviewed earlier or last year.
Yeah.
And you can listen to that if you haven't already. Mike Flanagan, the director, he's going to adapt Stephen King's Shining sequel to the big screen. Now, that sequel is called Dr. Sleep, and it's about how Danny Boy is having, he's like mentally traumatized after like the Overlook Hotel, and his mom's still kind of nuts and everything like that. And it's just kind of the downfall of that. But Dr. Sleep was published by Stephen King in 2013, so it's only been a book for 5 years. I actually never got a chance to read it, but I'm surprised that it's being made into a movie this kind of quick right after publishing. But you know, I'm excited about it.
They
I
must-
mean, Gerald's Game was pretty good, so for this guy to get like a big project
Yeah.
like Doctor Sleep, which is the direct sequel to The Shining, is kind of cool.
The guy who just did it is he's doing Pet Sematary, right?
Yes.
And now this guy's adapting another one of Stephen King's novels. I actually am really excited for this, because I think there's been enough layover since The Shining to where it makes sense to make this movie
Right.
actually. So I'm actually interested. Is Danny supposed to be grown up?
I didn't read Doctor Sleep, so I don't know. And I didn't want to read too much of the premise because I kind of, if it's going to be made into a movie, I kind of want to read it. So I want to save myself from spoilers in that aspect. So I don't know, but the basic premise after I Googled it was Danny's psychologically messed up, like after what happened.
Gerald's Game had a similar tone to The Shining, that sense of dread and that sense of, it had gore in it as well, as The Shining does. So I think this is actually when I heard it was this guy is what made me interested, because he did such a good job with Gerald's Game.
That's probably what won him the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Gerald's Game was so incredibly psychological. Because it wasn't really heavy on the gore. It was just scary because of the situation the protagonist was in. But people love The Shining, so like there's gonna be a big hype about this, I think, especially with the success of it. More Stephen King books are probably gonna be adapted, as they are headed that way now. But Dark Tower happened, so hopefully we don't get a stinker like that again.
Dark Tower was really the only. There was a few Stephen King adaptations that came out this past year, and that was the only one that was kind of not great. It was really good. Gerald's Game was good, and I'm pretty sure there might have been another one. But yeah, Dark Tower was poo.
Yeah, total poo.
Do you think that Flanagan will try to do like homages to Kubrick at all?
I'm sure we're gonna have flashbacks in it, like archive
something.
footage of Jack Nicholson being terrifying. So it'll be really nostalgic as well, I bet.
Because like if he just kind of adapts the book, I know the Shining book is kind of like way different than the movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Stephen King hates The Shining.
Yeah,
I forgot about
so
that.
there's a lot to do. I don't know, since they just didn't remake The Shining. You kind of can't remake The Shining. and he's just doing like the direct sequel, it kind of has to be the sequel to the movie, and not just adapt the sequel of the book. So he's well, there's got to be a lot of decisions being made here. Like there's a lot of thought has to be put in this because now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh, what are they gonna do?
Well, the story goes is book based, so they'll probably make some adjustments because more people know The Shining anyway. The movie.
The movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you got to
up in the air.
You kind of got to do the movie.
Yeah. It's up in the air at this point, but like cool that it's being made.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
As long as Shelley Duvall doesn't come back.
She won't.
She
She's
is
done.
a terrible actress.
Yeah. She's done.
When is it part 2?
They haven't said.
Scheduled.
I think 2019 actually. I think it's 2019.
Good.
Or 2020, one of the two.
That's good.
Jessica Chastain says she really wants to play the older, what's her face? The girl in it. Beverly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'd be down for that.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. Earlier this week, Illumination and Nintendo announced a partnership, and they're going full throttle for their first partnership movie to be a Mario movie. What else if you're going to make a new Nintendo film? Why not make it their official mascot, basically, in Mario? Really, nothing's been announced with it. I don't think there's been casting or director. It's just been like, hey, we're going to make a Mario movie. And we know full well that video game movies don't work, even if they team with cute animation companies. Angry Birds was terrible. So I don't know if they're going to have... God, I don't know the guy's name, but I met him. I don't know if they're going to have the Wahoo guy as the voice of Mario, which they should.
Is it going to be an animated film?
Yeah.
All right, that's better. I thought they were going to do live action.
Oh, no. That
God.
failed miserably in the 90s or 80s or whenever it was. But, like, it's got to be that guy because I don't want, like, Ed Helms to voice Mario.
No.
Like, they got Jason Sudeikis to be Redbird in Angry Birds. Like, they can't do that. Mario, it's got to be that guy, and... You know, I mean, we talk about video game movies don't work because of how cinematic they are. The most recent game, Super Mario Odyssey, like made Mario a cinematic like game almost. There were cutscenes, there was, you know, like a lot of story. There's not a lot of speech, obviously. It's a Mario game, but like there's a lot to it. I hope there's not like voice actors, like I said. Like I don't want like Ed Helms to voice Mario. I don't know why I'm picking on Ed Helms, but like I feel like that they do that. And I just want it to be that guy and whatever they're doing, you know. I mean, it's got to be good, right? I mean,
I think this just goes back to us saying leave video games as they are because, as you said, they're cinematic by themselves already. It's just like an Uncharted movie, a Last of Us movie. Don't make them. They're by themselves a movie if you just watch the cutscenes.
And some people would discount that and be like, oh, well, it's Mario. But like I just said, if you played the most recent Mario title, Super Mario Odyssey, like you'd say different. Like, it's pretty cinematic. Ryan, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, while it is cinematic, it, as you said, doesn't have dialogue. And because of that, I think they're going to have to more commercialize it because that's what happened with Angry Birds, and they just turned it into a general kids movie. And it sucked, right? Like everyone reviewed it really badly, but it made triple that only in box office, not even considering, it made triple its budget, is what I'm saying, not even considering its merchandising. So they'll probably still do it, but they might change like fundamentally how it works, and I think we're probably going to see like character dialogue, which is fundamentally not really how Mario goes. So it's just going to be different, and it could anger fans maybe, but who knows? They might take it differently.
They should just make a Mad Mario movie
They should.
of him walking
Niche
around
joke.
and cussing people out. Well, it could be looked up on YouTube.
Yeah, it could.
If you have any interest in this Mario joke I just made, look up Mad Mario, where Mario walks around and cusses out every character.
Now,
It's a great time.
Would you think it'd be Ed Helms, or do you think it'd be this guy?
Hopefully that guy.
I love that guy.
Yeah. But Man,
I gotta look at this.
that guy being the voice of Mario currently, Dan showed me a picture of him with him at E3.
Yeah, I went to E3 this last year, and I met the guy who voices Mario.
Yeah, and that's totally was that free? Usually people
Yeah, there was
charge
just
for that.
okay, so the E3 show floor is insane. Like, there's just shit going. I mean, you've been to a Comic-Con, you know how like fucking disorganized. Well, I mean, it's like organized chaos.
Yeah.
And just like Nintendo had the biggest like booth. Obviously, Super Mario Odyssey was like going to be the big title. I mean, it released in October of this year, but this was in June or October of last year, and it was in E3 was in June of last year, and that was the big thing of E3. And so they just had a big thing, and there were a million people there, and I just saw the guy. And
Oh.
like right before they were like setting up for photo ops, and I asked him for a picture, and like I was the first one to like take a picture with him and meet
That's
him.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
I gotta look.
You might have
Does
got
he
lucky.
voice
there.
Luigi too?
He voices like all of them.
I think dialogue's very likely.
Charles Martinet or Martinet.
Hmm.
That's his name. I just know him as the guy who voices Mario, though. But that's cool. I met him.
Illumination seems to handle things pretty decently.
Well, now they're doing the Grinch movie with
Yeah.
Benedict
Benedict
Cumberbatch. Yeah,
And he's gonna be a little kid Grinch.
I have a feeling like there's just gonna be Grinch flashbacks with other Grinches, and they're gonna show like him as a kid, but then like adult version of the Grinch is gonna be Benedict Cumberbatch.
We'll see.
I love the Jim Carrey version.
Same.
Not everyone loves that movie. I do. I think it's so funny.
Yeah. Like I said, I think we said this on the show before, but like the funniest line ever written into a movie ever is when he's like the Grinch is like terrorizing the town, and he goes taxi, and then the little car drives by him, and he goes, "It's because I'm green, isn't it?" And it's the funniest thing ever, and I love that movie so much. It's so funny. And then when he's like stealing toys and shit and he's like stealing Christmas from the town, and his like head is rolling across the screen, and he's laughing. He's like,
It's so exaggerated.
It's so funny. Oh my god, that movie's the greatest movie ever made.
I don't know about that. It's funny.
I exaggerate, but
The Citizen Kane of our generation.
yeah, fuck Citizen Kane.
Is that all we have for news?
Yes.
Well, Dan, we've got this recurring topic. Would you like to intro
Oh
that?
yeah, so we're recurring once again in this recurring topics. It's crazy how they just keep recurring these recurring topics. But we're back to the top 5, and today we're gonna do the top 5 detectives or cops in movies or television.
Crime solvers.
Crime solvers, whatnot. And we tried to stay away from superheroes because a lot of superheroes can be considered, but we just want to get the number one, like, honorable. It's not even an honorable mention because he's just the number one. Like, Batman is not on any of our lists because, like, we all agreed that Batman is Batman. So, like, he's the best. But what do we want to do? Like a snake draft here? We're going to go around the table?
around.
As we always
Okay.
do.
Yeah.
In no particular order?
I always
I
do in
ha-
order,
I
but
have
you
an
don't
order.
have
I don't
to.
have an order.
Yeah, I
But
know
it's
that- I know
it's
that
a
helps you.
personal
Yeah.
order. If you have any honorable mentions other than Batman, well, Batman isn't an honorable mention. He's number 1. If you have honorable mentions, throw them on the table really quick before you say your number 5.
I got no honorable mentions.
Oh,
Yeah.
there are just so many. I have
I'm not a
honorable
list guy.
mentions.
But my first one is he's an inspector, and he certainly has gadgets.
Oh my god.
I'm talking about Inspector Gadget, the powerful and dim-witted cyborg police inspector. And I've not so much the movies, but the cartoons. I was all about that shit. And the Matthew Broderick one is weird.
But the Matthew Broderick one is better than the sequel with not Matthew Broderick. It's some weirdo.
Yeah, I'd rather they didn't
You know
even
what?
have
That
that.
movie stinks, but I liked it as a kid.
Inspector Gadget's the shit though.
His
Like
his
he's
daughter's
a
name is
classical
Yeah.
he's a classical sleuth, but he also has fucking robot parts in his body, and it's so like it's not even a big deal to other people that he just has like claws that he could just go Gadget
what
Claw.
was his villain's name?
The
guy
Dr.
with-
Claw.
Ah.
I'm on his Wikipedia page right now. Dr. Claw. He had a lot of criminal schemes that he found the flaws in, and he go Gadget away that shit. And yeah, that's my first one. Dan?
Doesn't he have a slinky arm?
He's got a
Yeah,
lot.
he's got so
he's
many
got
things.
a lot. He's just Go Gadget skis, and then he has skis.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a lot. Okay, so honorable mentions here before we get to my number 5. Virgil Tibbs. They call me Mr. Tibbs. Just
What a guy.
got to have it
Sidney
on there.
Poitier.
Sidney Poitier. In the Heat of the Night, and then the sequel named after his very famous line, They call me Mr. Tibbs, is a far worse movie than In the Heat of the Night. Then Riggs and Murtaugh as a team. I'm gonna go with the Lethal Weapon guys as an honorable mention. Lethal Weapon movies are great, but there are 6 of them, and then the last 2.
No, why do you count me? It's always Sunny
The
ones?
last 2 got a little weird with the blackface and everything like that, but it was still they're still enjoyable, and I love Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. And then last honorable mention is Carlton Lassiter, Santa Barbara head detective in Psych. He's played by Timothy Olyphant.
No, Timothy O'Mudson.
Not Timothy Olyphant. Timothy Olyphant is in Deadwood and Justified.
Yeah, and
what?
in Deadwood. Yeah.
Olmanson. Jesus Christ, I fucked up Lassie's name. No. Okay. All right. Let's go to 5. William Costigan from The Departed is my number 5. Because Leo just does an awesome job as William Costigan. But then William Costigan spends he spends time in prison and spends years in the gang in the Irish mob to bring down fucking Jack Nicholson. Costello's rat.
Yeah.
And he loses his mind, and he's the hero of The Departed, and then he gets killed in the end, but did years of service, and he's the hero of that movie. So William Costigan is my number 5.
You could also make an argument for Dignam, for Marky Mark.
You could, but he's not in the movie enough.
No,
I mean, he saves the day at the end, but he's not in the movie enough to be greatest.
William Costigan was my number 5, so I'm gonna change it, and I also had Tibbs in my honorable mentions. So I'll change it. I'll change my number 5 to someone who was in my honorable mentions, but's now my number 5 is Clarice Starling from Silence of the Lambs, the one, the only, who talks to Hannibal Lecter, finds Buffalo Bill, and that's a great movie and a great performance by Jodie Foster. We actually just dissected the opening scene this week and how much it means. In the opening scene, you get a shot of the woods to make you feel uncomfortable, the tone of the movie, and then she's running an obstacle course, which she's doing the whole movie, and I thought that was just incredible storytelling. So that kind of is probably why she's on my list, because we just watched that. But yeah, Clarice Starling, she's great, as is Anthony Hopkins in that movie. But he's not a detective. He eats people.
Very different.
Yeah.
I was not aware cops were an option for this, so all of mine are mystery solvers.
That's fine.
Okay. My next one, he's definitely an inspector, and he also has a lot of Clouseau. He's Inspector Jacques Clouseau from the Pink Panther. I like both the cartoon version. I like the classic movie version.
And Steve Martin.
Steve Martin's probably the best, though. And I mean, even to this day, the burger scene, the burger, is the best thing ever. And they're fun movies. Even the sequel is kind of good. I'm sure I would hate it if I rewatched it, but I kind of like those movies. They're fun.
Great theme.
Oh yeah.
For the longest time, yeah, burger was my text ringtone.
Really?
on my old Motorola phone. Yeah, it was my text tone. Every time I got a text, it was yeah, burger.
Did you pay for that?
No, I recorded it and then just set it as my text tone.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What's yours?
My number 4 is Dirty Harry Callahan from the Dirty Harry movies. And Clint Eastwood is just incredible as Dirty Harry because he just murders people with his cartoony looking fucking gun. He just fucking just murders people and then flashes a badge, and then it's all okay that he murders people. But goddamn, if you've never seen the Dirty Harry movies, like watch them. They're just a lot of fun.
I never have.
You've never watched
My dad's always wanted to sit down, but it's one of those things you just got to find time for.
Yeah, they're fantastic, and yeah, it's just funny. Like he just murders, and then it's like justified because he's got a badge.
Wait, is he Dirty Harry because he's a dirty cop?
Yeah, he's a murderer.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know the plot of these movies at all.
Oh.
Just knew that was.
We're
Clint
gonna
Eastwood.
we're gonna have to watch it. I mean, there's a lot to it.
Add
Like
to the saga list.
there's a lot to it. Like they're good. We should watch them.
Okay.
I feel like a movie star. They're at the Herald, so come on and make my day, Jew. That's from Borat.
Oh,
Remember in Bruce Almighty when he's like, I'm Dirty Harry, I'm Clint Eastwood, and then he looks in the mirror and he's like, be careful what you wish for, punk.
Yeah.
All right, my number 4 is Alonzo Harris, a.k.a. Denzel Washington from Training Day, the most corrupt piece of shit cop that's ever been in any movie ever. He murders people and takes their money. I
don't know. Dirty Harry is up there.
He's corrupt as well, but Alonzo's literally a criminal.
Yeah.
Like he does things to serve himself only. Like he has a bunch of baby mamas and he has maybe one of the greatest monologues ever when he talks about King Kong not having shit on him. And yeah, I love that movie, and I love Denzel in that movie. He won an Oscar for it, and I think rightfully so. Alonzo Harris is a piece of shit.
Oh, you motherfuckers. Okay.
Yeah. Not a good guy.
No.
So, Ryan, you're number 3?
my next one is Dr. Watson from Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock would have been a gimme, but I really like Watson because he's always figuring out a few of the things that Sherlock might not have pieced together, or he's just there to help. And I think he's a great character in any iteration of Sherlock Holmes. I like the underdog character. I'm always rooting for him, and yeah, I'm just a big fan. Big Watson fan.
He gives that like real person perspective to the show that kind of humanizes Sherlock himself.
Exactly.
I like Martin Freeman.
Oh yeah, he's great
as Watson, and I forgot that Sherlock existed because we stopped watching it. Well, I stopped watching it because I wanted to watch The Punisher before I finished Sherlock because I like Sherlock a lot. But I was just like, oh, I need to watch The Punisher. But I didn't watch either of them because I kept rewatching Sunny over and over again.
You'll never watch another show again.
No, because Dennis Reynolds is so good. I mean, how can I not watch Dennis Reynolds? But yeah, I'll throw Cumberbatch as Sherlock in an honorable mention because he's not on my list because I like I don't really like Downey Jr.'s Sherlock.
Not a fan.
No,
Not
I
really.
like them. I like
them.
those movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless, my number 3 is Rick Deckard from Blade Runner. I mean, you heard our review of Blade Runner last year, or Blade Runner 2049 last year, and Harrison Ford came back as Rick Deckard, and he's awesome. But in the original Blade Runner movie, just such a noir detective but futuristic, awesome movie all at the same time. Like you're in it with Rick Deckard. And Harrison Ford's ability to just play so many different characters and be different people is just incredible. And Rick Deckard, like, is a great character to kind of introduce you to and get you right in the middle of action in that Blade Runner universe. And Rick Deckard is just a great detective as well.
Han Solo, Indiana Jones, and Rick Deckard. Harrison Ford's nuts hang between his knees. He's played 3 iconic characters. Not just, like, memorable, iconic characters. So my number 3 is one of my favorite television shows ever, which I often call the most underrated television show ever because it took place at the same time as Mad Men and Breaking Bad and Sons of Anarchy. And that is Justified, who character Raylan Givens, played by Timothy Olyphant.
And not Timothy Olmanson.
No, Timothy Olyphant, who is kind of a Dirty Harry himself, but in the South, and he's a cowboy, and he does the same thing. He murders, and he just says, hey, he pulled on me, so I killed him. The opening scene of the show, he corners a guy in a restaurant, shoots him in a chest, and it forces him to get relocated. He walks up to a guy, and he goes, And the guy's trying to be all cordial with him. He's like, oh, sit down, have a meal. And Raylan's like, no, I gave you X amount of time to get out of town and you haven't left yet. And the guy's like, what the fuck? This is bullshit. And then Raylan goes, you have 20 seconds before I shoot you. And the guy keeps talking and Raylan just pops him. And that's how the first 5 minutes of the show goes. And that's basically the entire show. He's a great crime solver. He's not corrupt, but he's certainly a killer. So Timothy Olyphant as Raylan Givens is one of my favorite characters ever. So that is my number 3.
That's a good show.
That's a great show.
I haven't watched all of it, but
I
man,
love it.
You even sit in for an episode, you're like, I respect this.
Yeah, and Walton Goggins is the villain in it. And he's got the spiked up hair, and he's so over the top. It works so well.
That's kind of where Walton Goggins came from,
Yeah.
right? Because before like Django, like I hadn't seen him in anything, and I don't watch Sons of Anarchy, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
And Margot Martindale plays like the classic, I'm a loving lady, but I'm mischievous.
Yeah, she's the villain season 2. She's awesome.
Yeah. Has she been one of those ladies since she was in Misery? Like, she's done so many of those
That's
characters.
Kathy Bates.
Oh my god, I got
Misery.
it mixed up. Margot Martindale is in...
She is in Justified.
Got him
She's
totally
in the
mixed
second
up.
season.
Okay. They kind of look the same.
She plays like the mom of this crime family syndicate, and they're like pot
She's
dealers.
brutal.
And oh yeah, she
Yeah.
has this moonshine that she laces with poison, and she kills
I
people
watched that
that way.
episode,
It's
yeah.
awesome.
My next one is JJ, I think it's Gittes or Giddies from Chinatown. It's Jack Nicholson's character. I love Chinatown, and it's... I mean, he's not... It's not like he's particularly charming or anything, but the fact that he gets like swept into this story and you're just confused by the different crimes and like horrible people he's dealing with. It's a great movie. Roman Polanski directed it. Go check out Chinatown. It's a goddamn classic.
I've never seen it.
Really
never
good.
even heard of it.
Yeah,
until
really?
now.
I'm watching it in my film class later this
Yeah.
semester.
It's like regarded as like one of the best mystery movies.
Okay, that's I'm in.
Yeah, it's really really good, and I just like Jack Nicholson a lot in that. That's
Is
probably my favorite role of his.
Is that your only one that's like not a cartoon?
Yeah, I just had to add it because I was gonna do Rick Deckard.
Is he by the books a detective, or is he like corrupt at all?
I don't think he did anything corrupt at all.
Okay.
He was just doing his job. So he's not a dirty Harry. But
Cool.
yeah, Dan.
My number 2 is from just one of the best TV shows of all time. It's ASAC, Hank Schrader. Hank Schrader is just like the funny uncle, but like...
He becomes so much
But
more.
he becomes
Yeah.
so much more in Breaking Bad. And, like, Breaking Bad has so many great characters that, like, you just watch them rise and fall. And Hank's rise and fall is just, like, one of my favorite. And, at first he's kind of like a douche. Like, he steals, like, in the very first episode of Breaking Bad, like, he takes his beer at, like, Walt's 50th birthday party. But then at the end... like, you love Hank so much. Like, if you don't like Hank, like, I don't know, because he's so fucking great, and like, he's just always, because he's Heisenberg's fucking brother-in-law, and he's in law enforcement, and that whole show you're waiting for Walt to fuck up, for Hank to find something, and when it finally does, it sets up for an incredible conclusion to that show. And Hank is just, that show isn't as great of a show without Hank Schrader.
Without Dean Norris playing
Yeah.
Hank, not only the look, but he was just, I think he was just so perfect for that role.
Yeah.
So much so that he's been typecasted now since then to just play that role
Yeah.
as that cop. Maybe the greatest exit line ever. My name is ASAC Schrader. You can go fuck yourself. Do what you gotta do. It's fantastic.
I got a question. Is ASAC like a shortened version of some sort of rank, or is that his
Yeah.
first name?
Yeah, it's, no,
It's a rank.
Okay.
ASAC is, like,
In the DEA, I think that's like the guy who's the head of the department.
ASAC.
ASAC.
Assistant Special Agent in Charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assistant to the Special Agent in Charge.
And I think he becomes the special agent by
Yeah.
the end.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. What's yours?
My number 2 is from one of my favorite movies of all time, the greatest bank heist drama movie ever, Heat, which is Vincent Hanna, Al Pacino in that movie, that is the role that I think Al Pacino got the Al Pacino stick of being over the top, boisterous, yelling. It got redundant after that, but in that movie it works so well because he's just the no nonsense cop, and it's the contrast between him and De Niro in that movie is amazing. It's a bank robbery movie, but it's an epic at the same time because you see these characters who are both so alike and just see them they're back and forth the entire movie, and you have a duel at the end between them. It's so fucking good, and that's one of my favorite movies ever, and mostly because of Al Pacino in that movie. It's fantastic.
That sounds good. Never seen Heat. No, it's a classic.
No, it's so let's watch it again so he can see it.
We've come out of this discussion with like 10 movies we all gotta watch.
Yeah.
No time.
Heat's one of those where it's long, but it's like that.
We really do. The Dirty Harry movies, Chinatown, and Heat.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
But there are 3 or 4, maybe 5 Dirty Harry movies.
Watch the good ones.
Follow our journey on Facebook as we ruin our GPAs watching all these movies.
Yeah.
We'll be posting along the way, and it'll be very fun. My final one is the Scooby-Doo gang.
I
love.
didn't even give them a thought.
I love Scooby-Doo. The classic cartoons are great, as well as the a little bit modernized films that they did afterward. They're all TV movies, I think, or were there ever wide releases?
Yeah,
Not the live
action ones.
Not counting that. Not counting that.
But the TV movie, dude, Cyber Chase or whatever, the
Yeah,
fucking video game one, that one's awesome.
They had a few cool ones, and it's really cool. I don't know if they do any more, even just like TV movies of Scooby-Doo, but they are still being kept alive in comics, and they're actually doing like new stuff with them, like different stuff. There's the newest one is in like a futuristic apocalypse, and the Scooby Gang's in it, and they do like these weird character dramas. It's nuts.
Yeah, Scoob.
Is that Shaggy?
Yeah. A poor Shaggy.
But yeah, love Scooby-Doo, and those darn kids. They always foil those horrible plots to fuck people over.
Those meddling kids.
Those meddling kids.
Mr. Bean's the villain in the first
Is he
live
really?
action.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Well, no, it's Scrappy. Scrappy Doo
Oh, yeah.
as Mr. Bean.
So bad.
Rowan Atkinson is such an ugly looking guy, man.
Mm.
Although he is a listener of this podcast. So, Rowan, please come on the show to discuss why you did Scooby Doo.
Dan,
The movie.
What's your final one?
My final one, in complete bias, like certainly doesn't belong in the category as greatest of all time, but he's in my favorite show of all time, Psychic Detective Sean Spencer from Psych. How could I not go with my favorite like TV character from my favorite TV show as my number one detective and cop in the list? Like I said, Psych is my favorite show of all time, and that show isn't the show it is without James Roday playing Sean Spencer. Just the witty, like obscure 80s pop culture references and to songs and everything like that. Psych isn't the comedy it is without him, and James Roday writing and directing a lot of the episodes as well. Like, he's just so funny, he's great, and he gives so much life to the show. Sean Spencer, number one for me.
What was the lifespan of that show? How long was that on? When did it start?
8 seasons.
From what years? Do you know the span?
06 to 14.
Wow. Was it always on the same network on
USA.
USA?
USA.
Okay.
USA is now allowing the F-bomb. Them and Sci-Fi.
Just anybody can say it anytime?
Yeah, that was news this week.
There's not a limit of like one per episode?
I don't know, but that's what I read.
Whoa.
I didn't read the story in total, but I'm like, maybe fucking cable's waking up.
No, but good. Because USA had Monk and Psych, and Burn Notice, I think, is still on, and so is Suits.
Burn Notice ended.
Oh, did it?
Burn Notice ended.
If any of us watched Monk, that probably would have made this because people love that show. He's a detective.
My parents like Monk. That's how my mom found Psych.
Really?
Was she was watching Monk like one night, and then right after it, Psych came on, and she loved Psych, and then showed it to me, and I loved it.
Another famous detective TV show that has like a huge following is you guys ever hear of Columbo?
The old series.
Yeah.
The old show Columbo. Apparently that's good, but like I have no way of watching it,
No.
or I never even have seen reruns. But honorable mention, though none of us know
I've
it.
seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my dad liked Columbo.
Yeah,
That was a hit in its time. Was it the 80s or 70s? It was one of the two.
something in that span. But
That's
people
how,
love
like
him.
all of us like didn't pick like like NCIS or any of that, like CSI
Fuck that.
bullshit.
They're all tired out.
Although,
Although my last one is a television detective.
What is it?
It is the cigarette-smoking, insomniac pessimist himself, Rust Cole from True Detective,
Ooh.
who is awesome. I mean, this character is Matthew McConaughey in a hole in his whole career of everyone wants to stereotype him in these roles. This is Matthew McConaughey. He has the long Lincoln narrations and monologues in the show, and he's so fucking good. You've seen True Detective, right, Ryan? He's so good in this show, and he's repulsive but yet engrossing at the same time. And yeah, he's my number one. That show when it was on was incredible. I can't wait for that they've taken this long to do season 3, and I'm excited to see Mahershala Ali be the lead in the new season.
Does he have a partner at all in that? I just know that he's in it, but
They haven't specified anything about plot. They've even talked about bringing McConaughey back, and I'm like,
Oh.
I don't know. His arc kind of ended
Yeah.
in the first season,
agree.
but yeah, he's my number one. I love that show, and I love him in that show. Him and Woody's chemistry was awesome. So
well, that's our top 5. Dan?
Corbin Burnson is Sean Spencer's dad in Psych. He's Henry Spencer, but he was like a cop in an '80s show, and that's why like James Roday and Steve Franks like casted him in Psych.
Oh yeah.
He was in. It's a famous show. It was on NBC. He's either a lawyer or a cop, but like it's funny that he's like the retired cop in the movie or in the show.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. Is it Corbin Benson?
Burnson.
I got him. I'm looking right now, and it's not loading, so I'm just gonna. Oh, he's a handsome man. That's a smoldering man. Weird thing to think of. While you're
Not be like.
okay, I can't find it, Dan.
I'll
don't
scroll
know.
back to the 80s. Or the 80s
Okay.
in his show. But that was our top 5.
awkward way to end.
That was our top 5 detectives and cops in movies and television. Please let us know in our comments or whatever what your top 5 is or your favorite ever on Facebook, on Twitter. Get in touch with us. Let us know who your favorites are. If you agree with us, let us know. If you disagree, let us know as well. And then when you want to put in a review for us on iTunes, you can subscribe, unsubscribe, and then resubscribe, and then let us know what your movie cop favorite TV cop detective is.
Crime Solvers.
God damn it.
You know, it's funny that we.
Oh, it was L.A. Law. He was Arnie Becker in L.A. Law.
Okay.
Of course
It was funny that we were on Corbin Burnson's page before we got that outro there, because he's apparently known for some movie called Dead Air, which is what we had for a brief moment there.
Yeah.
We made it out.
Corbin Burnson was also in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is an awesome movie
Was
if you
he?
haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was he?
I remember when we watched it, I was like, hey, that's Sean's dad.
Oh.
Before I kind of knew him as Corbin Burnson, the acclaimed television and film actor, I guess.
Val Kilmer is awesome in that movie. He's fucking. That's like the last like funny Val Kilmer role, and then he hasn't appeared since.
He was great.
His character is gay in it, but he's like the most heterosexual person ever.
Yeah, so
He's like, yeah, man, I like pussy. I'm just gay.
What?
So it's Robert Downey Jr., Michelle Monaghan, and who's the other guy? Like the main guy, like opposite Robert Downey Jr. Isn't there another
Val
guy?
Kilmer.
This
Yeah,
is-
they're like
Is he
a
like the
pair
main
in it.
credit? Because it's been like 2 years since we
Welcome
watched
to
it.
the
now.
IMDb podcast.
Yeah.
Going back to IMDb.
This is the
As
show
we
where we
talked
just
about-
Yeah,
search
so
IMDb.
if IMDb wants to give us money for constantly using their website during recording, please give us money.
if you love waiting for us to fulfill our discussion on IMDb, please like and subscribe.
Yeah. So, like, subscribe, unsubscribe, and then resubscribe.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, unsubscribe.
Yeah. But
Well,
This is
Okay.
Val Kilmer.
it's just
Okay,
Val
well, I'm gonna have to
Kilmer.
watch it again. I enjoyed that movie, but let's move into our movie review.
yeah, that's right. We saw a movie this week. We saw Hostiles, directed by Scott Cooper, who you may know from directing Black Mass or Crazy Heart. In 1892, a legendary army captain reluctantly agrees to escort a Cheyenne chief and his family through dangerous territory. It stars Christian Bale, Rosamund Pike, Wes Studi, Rory Cochrane, Jesse Plemons, and Ben Foster. Let's get into the positives. Dan?
There's a lot to go on here. This movie's pretty good. I mean, it's got a lot of positives about it. I talk about it, I think, every week now, to where when we talk about movies that are telling a story about the past and their abilities to put you there, when I was sitting in the theater watching this movie, it was 1892. You know, I mean, I'm in a class right now learning about the history of photojournalism and like early photographs being taken like during the Civil War and right after the Civil War. Like, this movie captured that. It was the 1890s, and like I was believably there, and that's on part of the cast. Ensemble cast was amazing. Christian Bale is definitely a standout at that. Goddamn, I got to use IMDb because I didn't even prepare for the show about my favorite part of this movie. My favorite part of this movie is without a doubt the cinematography. The just the way the shots and the cuts were built. It just had so much natural, beautiful wide shots of Western landscapes. And it was incredible. And the cinematographer, I can't even fucking pronounce his name. But he was the cinematographer for The Gray, Black Mass, Hostile, Spotlight, Out of the Furnace, Silver Linings Playbook, Warrior, other foreign films. A lot of foreign films. This guy's fucking talented. Masanobu Takiyanagi.
That's Masanobu Takanayagi.
Yeah, well, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, this movie was so pretty to look at, and like I said, it just captured that Western frontier. You were in fucking Utah or Colorado, wherever the hell you were at, and it was gorgeous. There were shots in the rain, there were shots in the sunlight, there were shots in the heat. Like you could feel how hot it was in the desert, and it was just so beautifully well shot. Captured the era. The cast was amazing, and really just I mean I could go on forever. Like, just kind of every aspect of this movie, building it up, was great.
Yeah, I'm with you. Very, very well done film. A throwback Western for sure. A lot of the movies you get nowadays. I'll use The Magnificent Seven as an example, which came out a couple years ago. It was a really entertaining movie. Some great gunfights and stuff, and it was a good Western. But you don't get these types of Westerns anymore. You don't get these ones that are reminiscent of Unforgiven or The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It felt like that because it took the scenery as a character as well.
It certainly captured the vibe of like an old like spaghetti western. It definitely had that vibe. Just the way the acting was, the scenery, as well as like the just the storytelling as well.
And to add to that, I never felt like these characters were in makeup or anything like that. I said after the movie to Ryan, like, I kind of feel like I need to take a shower because it was so gritty and it felt like the frontier, which I loved. Like, as you said, very reminiscent of Shame and The Revenant. I think that's a perfect splice of this movie. And so that's a positive. As you said, the cast is great. My biggest positive, though, is something that Ryan and I were kind of talking about after the movie, and I didn't realize until I talked about it fully, is the movie doesn't rely on its plot or narrative to tell the story. It tells its story by using themes and using its themes and how characters react to situations. And that's what I found very interesting is instead of just characters talking and working things out, it's their actions that define them. And you see a lot of the same themes occurring of, you know, unity and killing one another and just violence as a whole. And I think it added to that frontier vibe, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a inventive way of telling a story. I actually thought it was a very original Western, and it was quite refreshing.
Did you think the theme was a lot of times a lot of different people said it, the whole theme of like doing your job. They were
Yeah.
just doing their job, and it's something that comes up in a lot of more modern war movies where like they'll do something controversial to like a village or something.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what it was
There,
overall?
there's a lot of things that it juggles, I think, intentionally, but that's definitely one of them.
Hmm.
And along the way, characters, I think, find themselves while doing their job, and they're able to make choices that they normally wouldn't make, that I found very emotional, actually. I was very surprised at how much this movie captured me, because I cared about every single character in this movie. Ben Foster, who's a piece of shit in this movie, I was like, this guy's been through some stuff, and I get it.
Hmm.
I was still understanding of him, and I found that very commendable.
Yeah. Um, this movie, obviously, you were saying like things happen with these characters. This movie very much felt like the second half of a stage play or a novel where we already have things established and we are then seeing how the characters are feeling out the events of the past. And so themes are brought up on both sides of like treating Native Americans wrong and or Native Americans attacking um,
Americans.
yeah, Americans. And the whole just doing your job thing comes up on both sides, and it was really cool to just see, like, we didn't know who these characters were, but the way they talked about the past and the way you could tell their attitudes, it told you enough. And so we didn't need that first half of the play, that first half of the book. But I loved how it picked up from that point because, like Mike said, we didn't need to know what their past was. We knew who they were from their actions or the way that they spoke or the way that they felt after doing something, if they regretted it or if they felt powerful about it. It was really cool like that. And the cinematography was brought up by both of you guys. Taka Nayagi did an awesome job. In so many shots, you're just taking it all in, and you feel like you don't have enough eyes to look at the screen. I very much during a few of the shots, I was just saying this looks like, and I'm not saying this in a disparaging way. It looks like it's a default screensaver, like on your computer. It's like, wow, this is awesome. Can I get a screen capture of this in a way? Uh, I was blown away by this movie. I loved it.
And sorry, like I was talking about, just like the photography, like starting out in this era. If you turn that photo like a little grainier and black and white, like it'd look like a photo from that era. It's like it's crazy. It's just so well done, and that's like on the costuming department as well, because it put you there.
Another thing to go off of what you were saying about the themes is, what I also loved is no one in this movie is a villain. You see every type of person do something good and bad in this movie, and that's what I thought was even more cool. Is it was kind of like Fury, where there's no clear-cut hero.
Okay.
It's just like these group of people have a job to do, and they're gonna maybe grow along the way, but they're gonna do some things that you're gonna squint your eyes at. And that's what I another thing that was really commendable, that they didn't have just the Western hero. Like, Christian Bale is at the beginning of this movie pretty rough to root for. So yeah, and just another thing to commend this movie on. It's really, it did visual storytelling for sure, which was not the easiest thing to do.
Getting into the negatives.
Yeah.
I disagree with you in one aspect, that it gets you to care about every character.
Okay.
And I think it's quite glaring for me that, like, there are characters that are in there played by pretty well-named actors that, I mean, this isn't a spoiler in any fact. It's a Western movie. People are going to die. That, like, that die. Whether it's at the beginning of the movie or at the end of the movie, like, you kind of expect people to die. And, like, there's this main fellowship in the movie, and, like, they lose party members, like, very early on, and full well by the end of the movie, like, a lot of them are going to die. And so, like, knowing that, you kind of couldn't get attached to characters after that, other than, like, Christian Bale. and like that kind of hurt my ability to care for everybody else when there are scenes that try to set you up to care for everybody else after that. But like I knew that I couldn't get attached to anyone because I felt like, you know, after like one of the scenes early on where one of their party members dies, like I'm just like, okay, they don't care who they kill off here, which I guess adds mystery to the film. But for me, like it kind of made it like it took me out of being able to care for the characters, and you know it kind of hurts the overall film. But really, like I'm going back into positives here. Rosamund Pike was really good in this movie. Like she has this like haunting scream.
She's out of tears.
Yeah,
It's
this
disgusting.
haunting
Yeah.
like scream and yell, and it's so powerful. Like, see, I'm talking about the positives again, but really like okay, so like I disagree with you with the characters. Like I wasn't able to really attach myself to any of them other than Christian Bale and Rosamund Pike, actually, because like I kind of knew that she wasn't going to die after the beginning of the movie. So other than those two, like I kind of was expecting everybody else to die.
Do you think it was a screen time issue because the cast was so large? Like
I'd say
they had to
so,
bounce
because
back
then they
between
get
so many
they
people.
get such large names to play ensemble characters, and then when you like you give them a short amount of screen time, you kind of get to know their character. Like they're like, I'm Sergeant Corporal
Yeah.
whoever, sir, and I did this and this, and I'm happy to serve you. And then when they die, it's kind of like that was unnecessary. They could have just been background guys.
I took it. You get a couple of scenes between Christian Bale and, for me, this is how I saw it. You get a couple scenes between Christian Bale and Rory Cochrane's character.
Okay, Rory Cochrane's different because like him, the black guy are awesome.
The black guy was. I hate saying just the black guy. I don't know who he is. I haven't seen him in stuff before.
I didn't
awesome.
see him in anything. Ryan, what's his name?
I am looking. He's Corporal Henry Woodson. He's Henry. The character was Henry.
What's the guy's name?
Oh, Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, he was awesome.
That's the actor.
Okay, Jonathan Majors was awesome. Rory Cochrane was awesome. Christian Bale was awesome. Rosamund Pike was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else was kind of like, eh.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is you get the scene at the beginning between Christian Bale and Rory Cochrane, and for me, I took that as like what they're talking about. I took that as that applies to everyone. So I kind of took it as a development piece for almost everybody, and been like, everyone who's with us right now has been through this. That's just for me how I saw it. I could see how you see it your way as well. My negative actually is with the way this movie tells the story is it's how characters act upon certain events, and it's what defines them. While that was an impressive way to tell the story, I never felt like the story was building towards anything. I felt like it was just like, obviously they have to get from point A to point B, where Christian Bale has to escort the West Studi and his family. But along the way, it's kind of just like things happen, but you're not really building to a climax. The characters are slowly developing, which is a good thing in itself, but it's also a bad thing because it makes the story a bit of a slow burn. And by the end, when the guys come up and there's a final showdown, I'm like, okay, this is going to be the ending, but it doesn't feel that climactic.
Right.
That's how I felt. I didn't feel like the movie was always building towards something. I just was very engrossed in the world, but I didn't think we were getting, with the lack of main storyline we had.
Because like you said, there was no clear bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So when there wasn't this driving force of like, there are these guys, there was that for a little bit, but you know, they're not there the whole movie.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like when usually in the Western like this, there's a huge climactic showdown with a guy wearing black who you knew the whole movie was a bad guy. There's not that in this movie.
It's just kind of like the final event
Right.
is almost what it is. And I know the tagline for the movie is hostiles come from everywhere, which again, it's a cool theme, but it just made the story slow for me. So that's where I stand on it. And I know you had no negatives.
I don't. I could get into disagreeing with like your guys' negatives, but like that's not necessary for the review. I don't have any negatives though. Do you guys want to score this?
Sure. all week I've been kind of sitting on it, and then when I was like really thinking about it, I enjoyed it more than I think I was going to score. I'm going to give it a rookie score of 4. 4 out of 5 Goldblums. But like I think that could also be like a generous 3.9 as well. But I'm gonna go with a 4, rookie score of 4, because it was really fucking good. You know.
Yeah, I'm going with another 4. I've been 4 in a lot of movies, but this one, again, a very successful Western and breathes more life into this genre.
Going with a 5. I love this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that puts us at
6.5.
Not 6.
that puts us at 20.5.
Yeah. Fuck. I can't do math. I was so like confident in 6.5. It's not 6.5. It would be 6.5 if there were 2 of us. But it's 13 divided by 3. 4 and a third.
4.3. All right. If we're gonna ask ourselves where's Goldblum, I'm gonna say he's probably a.
He's that journalist at the beginning who's like
Oh, that'd be good.
yeah.
I was thinking he'd be like a good traveling merchant too. Goldblum being a weird.
You need some skins, guys?
Yeah. A weird kind of ornery merchant. I could see him as.
The journalist, he's such a cheeky like bastard at the beginning of the movie that like
Yeah.
I think Goldblum could have fit that guy. I hated that
for
guy
sure.
though.
That guy. Well, yeah. Great job of making himself.
As a journalist, I hated the only journalist in the movie. That's kind of funny. But yeah, we give Hostiles a 4.3 out of 5 Goldblums. It was awesome Western film. Definitely very original. Cinematography was gorgeous, and so was Rosamund Pike. But the cast was great. Christian Bale leads a great ensemble to a great movie.
I will say this: if you're not a Western fan, it might be a
You
bit
probably
slow.
won't like it. Yeah.
I think you got to be a Western guy to really enjoy this.
This is like a dad movie almost.
Yes,
This is definitely a dad movie.
I would argue that it's kind of just a male movie as a whole.
Well, it captures the Western genre.
Yeah.
That's
It's very testosterone heavy.
Yeah.
Even with Rosamund Pike. But yeah, Hostiles.
Out now in theaters.
Yeah, go check it out.
All right. For our main topic this week, we've got the Super Bowl tomorrow, but we're posting this the day after.
Super Bowl yesterday.
The Super Bowl happened.
Yeah.
And whoever won, I think there's a big bit of rivalry between cities and fans when any kind of big sports championship happens. And I wanted to ask what you guys think in real life, in movies. What do you guys think the best rivalry is ever? And you could do 1, you could do 2. Just what are your favorite rivalries that exist? Dan, I know you had yours.
I'm gonna do like one real life one and one fictitious one, because really we could just go on and on and on, because I mean everything's kind of built off of rivalries, you know. Like there's always got to be a good guy, there's always got to be a bad guy, and then from opposite perspectives that flips. So, you know, like it's fun. I mean, leading up in Super Bowl week here, like it's been fun to see fucking shitty Philly fans like pour beer on Patriots fans in downtown Philadelphia, because they're all assholes. They fucking snowballed Santa. Like they suck. But here's my real life one. Yankees Red Sox. As a Red Sox fan, like understanding this rivalry is something awesome, and the fact that the fucking Derek Jeter traded all his best fucking players up to the Yankees pisses me off, because the Yankees are about to be a baseball powerhouse again. But the Yankees are always a fucking baseball powerhouse, and I fucking hate them. But like there's so much behind the Yankees Red Sox rivalry. After Babe Ruth got traded from the Red Sox to the Yankees for nothing, basically, the Red Sox didn't win a World Series while the Yankees won a fucking 1,000 of them. And so 27. And so since then it's just been crazy, and the Red Sox didn't win a World Series for 86 years. 2003 there was ALCS, Yankees Red Sox, went to 7 games, and the Red Sox lost. Then in '04, ALCS again, Yankees Red Sox. Yankees go up 3-0, and the Red Sox win 4 straight games and then sweep the fucking Cardinals in the World Series and then win again. And like that series. Sorry, Cubs fans who just experienced the series with the Indians at 2 World Series ago, but the greatest baseball series ever was the 2004 ALCS between the Red Sox and the Yankees, and that just defines baseball. That defines Red Sox Yankees. I want to show you guys the 30 for 30 after we record because you will just be so into it. And like that just defines Red Sox Nation and the Yankees. Fuck the Yankees, but goddamn, like if they didn't exist, like baseball wouldn't be as great as it is. And being a Red Sox fan, like hating the Yankees is so much fun. And like whenever they play is just so much fun. And I love Yankees Red Sox.
Now, you always need a villain in sports. Do you like that the Patriots are seen as a villain? Because the Yankees are the villain of baseball, and I'd say nowadays it's the Pats. It's changed over time.
It's changed.
It used to be the Cowboys.
I don't know why like people like hate the Patriots because I feel like the hatred for the Patriots, I don't feel it as much as like the Bears fans' hatred for the Packers. Like I don't feel that as a Patriots fan. Maybe it's because they win all the fucking time. But
it's the winning.
Yeah, but I don't really feel that hatred. I mean, like I don't know how you can hate Tom Brady. Like I don't feel that as a Patriots fan. Like I can see it in because Bears Packers is like, you know, obviously a huge one. So like I see way more hostility in Bears Packers than I do with everybody against the Patriots. But like yeah, I mean, yeah, Yankees, Red
Because
Sox.
if I were you, I'd love it. I'd love being like, yeah,
and
fuck
that's
all
what
you.
it
That's
is.
my team.
That's what it is. I just hate like when people think like you know, I mean, and I was nervous a little bit during the AFC Championship, but we've seen the movie before.
Yeah.
Okay, we've seen the movie so many times. Tom Brady is better when he's down in a game than up in a game.
Yeah.
And he relishes in that moment. And to see Tom Brady time after time succeed in the clutch to come back and win games, or to just put his foot on the throats of his opponents and come back and win. Like, how do you doubt the Patriots? I hate Patriots doubters more than Patriots haters. You know, because Patriots haters are like, I know they're going to come back and win this game, but I hate them anyway. Patriots doubters are like, fuck Tom Brady. He's got 5 Super Bowls. There's no way he's going to win a 6th one. It's like, you're a moron.
Yeah.
Like, you're a moron.
Chiefs fans.
Fuck Chiefs fans. Oh, my God. That's so funny.
But,
I'm going to tell that story.
So wait, so it was Red Sox Yankees.
Red Sox Yankees is my real one.
Okay. My wait, are we going around the table then,
Yeah.
or what are we doing?
I only have one.
All right. Then I'll do my real life one too. My real life one was growing up the one that always gave me a panic attack, and that was the Manning Brady clash. Whatever team Manning was on, and Brady's always been on the Patriots, is I was always so nervous every time because you knew you were going to get a great game, but I was nervous because I was such a big Manning fan wherever I was. That's my guy. He was always my favorite player. So I was always nervous because I knew Belichick and Brady had a game plan, and in the playoffs they're no joke. And I was always so excited to watch the games, and it made when Manning won, it would get me so fucking jacked, and when they lost, it would piss me off because it's like, goddamn, the Patriots. Yeah. So. Yeah, growing up, it was always Brady and Manning, and you had some games where they both threw for 5 fucking touchdowns or something. I mean, if Tom Brady did not exist in this day and age, then if Manning and Brady had been in separate eras, then I think they'd be the 2 biggest ring holders ever. But it was just Brady had Manning's number most of his career, and that's why Manning had 2 and Tom has 5.
What I think is just like all the biggest rivalries in sports are always like from Boston. So it's like a huge hockey one. I know you guys aren't as big hockey guys as I am, but Bruins and Canadians is one of the biggest rivalries in hockey, like with the Blackhawks and Red Wings, like just original six. That's a rivalry. It's awesome. Like Rangers and Maple Leafs, like Canadians and Bruins are just like a huge rivalry, and then it's Yankees, Red Sox, Celtics, Lakers, and Patriots and everybody.
Yeah.
So like it just stems from there.
And one of my favorite games ever was, it was 21. It was the year Manning won his first Super Bowl, which I was so
They beat the
overjoyed.
Bears.
But when they beat the Bears after, which I was rooting for Manning, which is fucked up
Yeah.
because I look back and now I would have rooted
Rex
for the Bears.
Grossman fucked that game
But
up
I
for
was
the
such
Bears.
a Manning guy back then. But the game before, they played the Patriots, and the Patriots went up 21-3. Asante Samuel picked Manning off, and I was even sitting there, and I was like, man, no, my mom walked in because I was at a friend's and she was picking me up, and she's like, Mike, I'm sorry. And I'm like, there's still a lot of game left. And Manning came back, they took the lead, and it capped it off so brilliantly as Tom Brady got the ball last, and I'm like, fuck, here we go. And Tom threw an interception, which he never does, and that was the one time that I was like, Peyton did it. And when the one where Brady went up to Denver, and Von Miller beat the ever-loving shit. Von Miller was the MVP of that playoffs. Manning was that was his last season.
Yeah, that sucked, and Gostkowski missed an extra point, which affected, because it was a 4-point game at the end, so it affected our ability to kick a field goal at the end. We had to go for the end zone, and but that Denver defense was incredible, and they deserved that Super Bowl. They fucked up Killer Cam, and so
even worse, they embarrassed him.
Yeah,
so.
And that's something that Denver defense did that nobody could do all the season long, was stop Killer Cam. And then they had a shitty season, and then they were back, and then lost to the Saints, who lost to the Vikings, who lost to the Eagles.
So, Ryan, sorry we talked about sports for 10 minutes.
I'm sorry too. Greenland is a territory of Denmark.
Yeah.
And in between the northern lands of Canada and Greenland, there is a small strait of water. And in that small strait of water is a small island called Hans Island. And for many years, there's been a land dispute between Canada and Denmark as to who gets this island. And so it's a constant land war where they will put a flag on each thing. And
I know about this.
For years, what happens is each time they take the flag down and put their own up, when the Danes visit, they put a bottle of schnapps for the Canadians, and when the Canadians visit, they leave a bottle of Canadian Club for the Danish. And it's a completely, like, just for fun land war, because the island's completely worthless. It's just a little tiny rock in between Greenland and northern Canada. And I think it's just a fun little thing that two sovereign countries can just do that, and it's like a fun rivalry. It's not like a strong one like in sports or anything. They don't hate each other, but I think it's fun that countries can just do that because it's completely worthless and they don't need to make a big deal out of it.
That's not something you get a lot of days. Now a lot of days. Like that's really cool because nowadays it's all hatred. It's all just fuck that country, and even we, like, for no reason have hostility towards Canada. We like make fun of Canada
so
all the
stupid.
time.
I don't.
People do though. They're like,
That
"Oh,
was a
fucking
thing for
Canada."
a bit for a lot of people. It's like, oh, Canada's dumb. It's like no, it's not. It's kind of awesome.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
I hate Morocco.
Why?
I can't stand Moroccans.
Have you been there?
No.
What?
Where does this stem from?
Is this from anything?
I don't know.
Have you seen like a movie or a show?
Casa-
spun a globe?
Casablanca's in Morocco.
It is.
But Casablanca is an overrated movie. Don't ask.
Is that why you hate it?
No.
All right, hey.
They all just,
I'm not gonna.
They all just they're all fat and gross, and
I'm gonna leave that stone
They're
unturned.
all fat.
We
and
don't know
gross.
that.
this ooga booga food, and
Oh my god.
they just like they all sound like the guy from Phantom Menace. They sound like
Watto
from Phantom Menace.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
I'm sure they don't.
This is the first anti-Moroccan podcast.
I've never heard anyone hate Morocco in my life.
He spun a globe and picked
Yeah,
one.
that sounds about right.
Just fuck Morocco. All right.
Yeah. But that's mine. That's all I got.
I like that one, Ryan.
You doing a fantasy one?
I'll do a quick fantasy one. Mine is R.P. McMurphy and Ratchet from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. A true battle of of just authority and the guy who won't conform. It is a never-ending story, and that is one of the first ones that did it. Another one would be Paul Newman and Cool Hand Luke. That's kind of that time period as well. I think that was 68 or 69, and the one Flew
Cool
Over the
Hand Luke
Cuckoo's
was
Nest was 75,
67.
I think.
Yeah. So Cool Hand Luke was 67, and then 75 was Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, and Cuckoo's Nest is, I've said it before, I think R.P. McMurphy is one of maybe the best movie character ever, and my favorite Nicholson performance. So I love that one, and Nurse Ratched is such a bitch.
She sucks.
And it's fucked up, but you're kind of rooting for him to strangle her at the end.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You are.
Yeah.
It's so yeah, that's mine. I love that rivalry. It's fantastic.
Glad Chief makes it out.
Yeah.
Just two really quick. I mean, they're like two biggest fantasy rivalries like ever. I mean, Empire Rebels, got to go with that one. Star Wars, like, come on. And then Order of the Phoenix and the Death Eaters, like, there you go. Harry Potter as well, so I'm not going to say why.
I thought you said Harry and Voldemort, no? Or Batman Joker?
See, like I said, we could go on forever with
Yeah,
this. You just name anybody. You could, like, Daredevil and Bullseye.
You know, I actually like the
Buzz and Zurg.
I actually like the New Order and the Resistance a little bit more as a rivalry.
The droids and the clones.
Oh god.
They're
the same goddamn thing.
The Separatists and the Republic.
But
yeah.
Good rivalries. All good.
Mace Windu and Chief.
Do they?
Mace Windu in the Senate.
Oh yeah. He's the Senate.
Yeah.
All right.
We talked about how Mace Windu stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I root for Sheev in that situation 10 times out of 10.
Any other rivalries?
No, good topic, Ryan.
That was a good topic.
Thanks, fellas.
All right.
Any final thoughts before I wrap us out?
Let's go Patriots. They won their 6th Super Bowl yesterday, and if they didn't, then fuck Philadelphia. And they're shitty fans, and cheesesteaks are good, though.
Cheesesteaks are delicious.
Cheesesteaks are so good, and that's the only thing Philly does well.
We should have made
And the show.
And Rocky, yeah, and
It's always sunny.
and it's always sunny. Yeah.
before we even like planned the food we had. We should have made Philly cheesesteaks and like whatever else Boston has as their stereotypical food.
That'd have been cool.
That would have been really fun.
That would have been cool, yeah.
But too late now.
Lobster.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of lobster.
Yeah.
We could have made lobster rolls. We could have done oysters. Could also just do like beans and burgers and Sam Adams.
All right, that would be good. But
Yeah,
But we already are making
That's-
something.
yeah,
we're making a bunch of dips and sauce and.
well, that is this week's podcast.
We'll also have M&M and nuts bowls.
Yeah, remember that each and every Monday morning we upload to YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Give us a follow on Facebook and Twitter to keep up with what we're putting out there each and every week. And as always, thank you for listening.
Love you guys.
What if God was one of us? Just a slob like